Hey guys, today we're going to talk about where to put your Java code and how to execute it so that your front-end development looks good. Uh, you got to keep in mind that JavaScript is not server-side, so it gets rendered line by line just like it would in the code. PHP, on the other hand, is rendered on the server side and you don't see it and it gets rendered first, so it doesn't matter the order you implement it in your code. Um, for JavaScript, it is important that you implement it in a specific way. To add JavaScript to your code, you have to in implement these script tags, and you could type in there the type of code you are, or you could just do script, and the web browser will um, automatically render it. So in this example, I'm showing you where to put how not to put JavaScript code. You don't want to declare it, you don't want to use a variable and assign it to something. The equal sign is an assignment when the variable is being created down here. That's not something you want to do, and this will give you an error. You want to make sure that you're implementing the variable right at the beginning, and then it gets executed and gets assigned. Um, a lot of the times with JavaScript, you want to implement it in the header. If you're doing it some JavaScript in the body, you can use these script tags and you could implement them inside the body. A lot of the times you're gonna want to implement and import your files up in the header. Um, for example, if you have an external file, then you could just link it here in the header just by saying script and using the script tag, you could use the source function and then you can implement the path to my Java JS.js. And this would implement your JavaScript file that you have, uh, and it would implement it and import it inside here. And if you're using something special, for example, an um, external script like a library, you could just use script tag, just do the same thing, CRC for source, and then you could say www.mylibrarylib.com file, then JS to import the JavaScript file and then just close it off. Um, oh, misspelled that. And that's how you import it. Now, if you import this right at the top, it will first get imported before it executes your code. Now, if you add this at the bottom in your footer, it will execute last. And sometimes your code might be using some libraries or might be using some code from other files. That's why you want to implement it in the beginning, not at the end. So I'm going to show you guys how to edit the file. I mean IDs with the file. And in this case, we will make a, let's say, and each one, welcome, and close the tag. And then we will say P. With JavaScript, you could edit classes or IDs. Most of the time you want to do it with ID because it is a lot more simple. Um, hello, there. And then you close off the function. Now, I will create a button and we will type button and button type is button the on click. So with JavaScript, you have listeners that listen to the web browser, to the DOM, and you can implement certain things on it. Um, You can have the listeners listen for a click, for a swipe, for a scroll in the browser, for mouse movement. If I have the mouse over this, or if I have the mouse over this paragraph, you can have it do certain things. So I can say, thank you, right? And I'm gonna close this off button. And I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna see that we're gonna do some JavaScript here, and we're just gonna do it up here since I have the script tags already done. I'm gonna say I'm gonna create a function, uh, and I'm gonna say let's name it test. And functions don't start out with the special characters. They start out with text, and you could then implement it and add any kind of numbers you want to add there. And then we want to say document, which is access to the DOM, get element by ID. And I'm going to show you guys later how to manipulate it with uh, classes and how to edit CSS with it. I'm going to do quotation marks. I'm going to implement the ID in there, which it's going to tell the function to go to that ID and change the text to whatever we're going to say. We're going to change inner HTML, and we're going to say uh, have a nice day. We're going to say have a nice day. All right. And all we have to do now is not to forget our our semicolon at the end to not get the error. Now, when we go down here, we say, okay, there's a button, and when it's clicked, I want to activate this text function. Uh, I'll actually activate text one. I'm not sure if text is being used by the default command. And I'm going to say, um, when I click it, go and change the text from this paragraph. Uh, Go and change the text at this ID, which is this paragraph, to have a nice day instead of whatever is in there. So I'm going to go ahead and say text one. So you pretty much declare the function that's up here. You implement it in the quotation marks, and JavaScript knows how to take care of it. We're going to save that. I'm going to open up my browser, which I don't know why it closed, but we will open it. So we got it here. And now we're going to say thank you, and it changes to have a nice day. So, and it doesn't work multiple times. I mean, you could create a function, a loop function that could go swap between text. But if we import this, it's got the paragraph in here. And when we click thank you, it changes it because we allowed it to. And we can inspect element, and we can see this is what we have there, and then the function is right there. The JavaScript is up here, so yes, you can see the JavaScript inside the console here. That's why if you have something secretive to hide on your website, you want to put it on the server side, which is like PHP and other languages. So watch this area. Once I click it, it's gonna change it right away. Bam, and it's going to take this code and it's going to go ahead and put it in there. So that's how you want to implement your JavaScript. You want to do it before beforehand. You want to put in your header, so all your libraries and everything gets imported right, so that way the page doesn't look funny when it loads, because it could have a little bit of hard time getting your JavaScript, and you want your JavaScript to render first before you start using it in your code. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.